The town of Hinton respectfully acknowledges that it's located on the First Peoples traditional lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding to those who walk this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibility to work together in the spirit of the intent of the treaties with all First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. And with that, I call the regular council meeting of August 4th, 2026 to order. Council, we have an agenda. Any changes or additions? Administration?
No changes.
Thank you, Councillor Chambers. Oop.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda for the regular council meeting of August 4th, 2026 as presented.
All right, we have a motion that council adopt the agenda as presented. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Next up, council minutes for adoption. Councillor Charlton.
I'd like to move that we accept the minutes for the regular council meeting of July 4th, 2026, and the committee
7th.
and the committee of the whole meeting on July 14th, 2026.
Isn't it July 7th?
Just need to amend the date. Okay, I'll just read it out again. That council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting on July 7th, 2026, and the committee of the whole meeting on July 14th, 2026.
Thank you. All right, council. Nope. Please vote. We can get a new one.
The date.
Sorry? No. That's beautiful. Please vote. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of controversy. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Next is a minute with council. So I have received a registration list with two names, Lori Ingram and Neil O'Harp. Are you together, separate? Come on up. Okay, I always say the same thing, be concise. You have 3 minutes. A minute with council is actually 3 minutes with council. Address the chair if you have any comments, and no questions to council, because this is an opportunity for you to put your ideas forward. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor Brian Labarge and members of council for the opportunity to speak during today's Minute with Council. We also extend our appreciation to all of you who've come to support our park initiatives, our neighbors, Hunter Trunt, teacher from Mountain View School, Alicia Hollingsworth from Explore and Discover Child Care Center, Janice Harnish from Little Rascal Child Care Center. Both Alicia, rather than repeating the information already provided by email, we, Lori Ingram, and I, Ilo Harp, will briefly expand on the 4 park improvements for which we are seeking from council's approval and support. Lori.
Okay, firstly, picnic tables will provide a welcoming meeting space for people and children using the park. They will also provide a resting spot for those who can't walk a long distance. There's a lot of traffic through that area. Mowing will allow year-round use of the area. It will help with reducing fire hazard, especially when the grass is dry. The area will be much more inviting and will allow the whole flat area to be used.
Replace the existing barricade at the entrance of Meadow Drive with a staggered gate. That's to create a welcoming park entrance, to provide unobstructed access for pedestrians, cyclists, strollers, and town maintenance equipment, to warn and slow down park patrons leaving the park and entering Meadow Drive. Assign an official name to the park. The old Scout Hall no longer exists, and many, especially newcomers, do not know where or what we are referring to. We propose Cheviot Drive Connector Park because it reflects the park's location at 176 and 180 Cheviot Drive, the park's role as a connector for our surrounding neighborhoods with connector trails. These 4 proposed improvements, 2 permanent picnic tables, a maintained grassy area, and unobstructed access from Meadow Drive, and official park name will greatly enhance year-round use, improve safety, and add to the enjoyment of the park. Thank you for your time and consideration. We respectfully ask for both your approval and your support for these basic park improvements.
Thank you. Look at how concise you were. We had 37 seconds left. You can go on. Thank you. So go for it, I guess, to administration then. If would a business case come forward at budget time? Is that how we would deal with this? I'm not going to vote today, obviously, but
Yeah, through the mayor, members of council, there's a couple of ways we could do it. So council every year for budget has the authority to put budget items forward called the council initiated. I assume this one would be a capital project plan. So council has the ability to put that on the floor. Otherwise, council could always direct administration to go back, create a report about all of the items that have been spoken about today, the financial impacts, operational impacts, and bring it forward to council and council can decide whether they want to see that at budget time or not. So a couple different ways we could do it.
okay. Thank you. We'll have a look at this. I mean, from my perspective personally, I think well, this has been a thing that's gone around and around. It's time to address it. So we'll figure out a way to move this forward.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, so much appreciated.
Anyone else wants to take 3 minutes with council? Anybody online? Jen? No?
No, there's no one this evening.
Thank you. And I guess up next, we have a presentation from Northern Alberta Cooperative Housing Association. I'm assuming they're online. They're not here today. Okay.
Yes, they're all online, and I believe, Ayana, are you going to be sharing your presentation on your screen?
I think Jaden is going to be doing that for us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hey, good afternoon. We shared the presentation. You should be able to access it if you'd like to pull it up from your end. Otherwise, we can scramble on our end here and share it as well.
You have it?
Hi, Jaden. It's easier if you do it from your end because we are on Zoom.
Okay, just give me a moment here.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Thanks for your patience. You're able to see my screen at this moment?
Yep, we see it. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Jaden Armstrong with Atkinson Construction, here with Ayana Innes of NACHA, Tim Welch of TWC, and the broader project team. We're presenting a cooperative housing opportunity for the Boonton Avenue and Baker Street sites. In the next 15 minutes, we'll explain the co-op and community land trust model, clarify the roles of PCLT, NACHA, and the future local co-op, connect the opportunity to Hinton's housing needs, outline the funding strategy, and show what the two sites could provide. We appreciate Council's consideration of this opportunity. So the opportunity starts with Hinton's own evidence. In the town's 2024 housing survey, about 2/3 of respondents identified affordability as their main concern. Only about half said their current housing fully met their needs, and residents also identified a lack of housing diversity. The town's infill work recognizes the practical advantage of using land within the existing community, where roads and underground services are already present. The town's 2026 population and housing demand assessment identifies two directly relevant priorities: affordable community and workforce housing for working age residents, and smaller, accessible, independent living options for seniors. The proposed co-op's housing mix responds directly to those needs. To explain how the co-op and land trust model work together, I'll turn the presentation over to Ayana Innes.
Good afternoon. Jaden, I think there was a message in the chat for you to change the view. And you've got a little bit of feedback on your end. I don't know if everybody's hearing that. I'm hearing it on my side. If you maybe
Sure.
change to the presenter view.
Yeah, sure. I will get that underway here.
The presentation view, sorry. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. While Jaden is figuring that out, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what a housing co-op is and talk to you a little bit about the PCLT as well. Basically, a housing co-op is a nonprofit member-governed form of housing. The residents don't simply rent a home, they become members of the co-op community. Together, they elect a board of directors, serve on committees, make decisions about their community, and help shape its future. Can you all see me? I apologize. That democratic participation, similar to how you all started your council meeting today, which is very reminiscent of co-op board meetings, it really helps to build strong neighborhoods, encourage long-term stability, and creates a real sense of belonging. In the proposal, the land itself would be owned and stewarded by the Prairies Community Land Trust Foundation, or PCLT. The PCLT is a nonprofit society proposed to hold the Boonton Avenue and Baker Street lands permanently for community benefit and long-term affordability. NACHA is the sole member of PCLT, providing long-term organizational oversight and ensuring the land remains focused on its mission of permanent affordability and community benefit. The land trust model is well known and applied across Canada and effectively removes lands from the open market and holds them perpetually in trust for affordable housing. The future Hinton Housing Co-op would lease the land from the PCLT or a subsidiary entity established for the specific property, and it would govern and operate the homes through its own locally elected board of directors. This separation is intentional. The Community Land Trust protects the land as a permanent community asset, while the housing cooperative gives local residents the authority and the responsibility to govern their own housing community. Together, these two organizations create housing that remains affordable, locally governed, and community focused, not just for today's residents, but for future generations. Building affordable housing, next slide, please, Jaden. Building affordable housing is only part of the equation. The long-term success also depends on strong governance, informed leadership, and ongoing support for the people who will call this community home. Since 1986, the Northern Alberta Cooperative Housing Association has supported housing cooperatives across Northern Alberta. Today, our network includes 36 member housing cooperatives, giving us decades of hands-on experience in governance, member education, operational support, and organizational development. In Hinton, we'll help establish the new housing co-op by supporting member recruitment, board development, governance training, and the policies and systems needed for long-term success. As the co-op grows, local members will take responsibility for governing their community while continuing to benefit from NACHA's education, resources, and ongoing support. Our goal isn't simply to build homes. It's to build a strong, locally governed housing cooperative that will continue serving Hinton for decades. What this model offers Hinton is both practical and personal. First, it creates stability by providing a permanent community housing asset and greater security for residents. Second, it protects affordability by keeping the land out of residential speculation while offering mixed income housing options. Third, it supports aging in place, allowing people to remain in Hinton as their needs change while staying connected to the community that they've built. And fourth, it helps retain workers, families, and other essential members of the community by providing stable, affordable homes. These outcomes are made possible through local resident governance, supported by NACHA's experience in member development, education, operational support, and our broader cooperative network here in Alberta, and connected also to the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada. These outcomes are, the result is more than just a housing project. It's a locally governed community that will continue serving Hinton for generations. I'm going to pass things back over to Jayden, who will introduce you to the delivery team.
Thanks, Diana. Quick tech check-in here. Slides are updating as I'm progressing. Correct, everyone? Okay, seeing no comments, I'll move on here. So the project team combines the capabilities needed to establish a credible path to economic viability. NACHA leads the co-op model, member formation, and long-term sector support. TWC brings affordable housing feasibility, funding strategy, and development management. Arcadis prepared the current planning and architectural concept. Atkinson brings design build coordination, cost and constructability discipline, and Northern Alberta housing delivery experience. Together, the team can test and refine the concept while coordinating the funding, design, and delivery work. I'll now hand the presentation to Tim Welsh to outline the Build Canada Homes opportunity and the funding strategy being advanced.
Thanks very much, Jayden. Hello, members of council. So that members of council may be aware that the last fall, the federal government launched Build Canada Homes, the new federal initiative to support the creation of new affordable housing through a variety of flexible federal investments, both contributions as well as potentially some loans. And in that program, certainly cooperative housing and a focus on mixed income housing and infill fit very well with the program's eligible project types. The proposal that, with the council's approval, that we're looking to move forward with aligns strongly with the affordability rules of Build Canada Homes, their emphasis on partnership and community housing capacity. So building on the long-term success that NACHA and its co-op members have had for a number of decades. With the proposal, as also mentioned, because of the strength of NACHA, our firm's experience in dealing with the federal government and other levels of government for funding, a really strong team with design and construction through Arcadis and Atkinson, I think we'll put a very strong package together to Build Canada Homes to try to access the contributions from the federal government. And of course, the contribution of municipal land further strengthens that. That is seen as an important part of equity that will go into a Build Canada Homes application. The next slide, just if we can switch to that, Jayden, talks about how in a little more detail about preparing for this application for Build Canada Homes. So we're already right now starting to prepare the documentation that will be needed for Build Canada Homes. It's an online application, both to position about the success of the cooperative housing model in Northern Alberta, our goals of long-term affordability, and the creation of the range of housing, both for younger seniors, is the phrase I think we've been using, as well as workforce housing. And the transfer of the lands to the Community Land Trust will demonstrate good local support from the town, which the federal government likes to see support from a variety of organizations in housing proposals that come forward. And it improves the ability to attract additional investment. So contributions from the town helps leverage contributions from other levels of government and other organizations. We are also looking to build what's called a funding stack that will not only go to Build Canada Homes, but also will apply for Alberta's Affordable Housing Partnership Program, as well as potentially accessing some of CMHC's low interest financing programs. That we will have an affordability mix that will make the project with these different funding and financing instruments being brought to the project will make it successful and will be seen to be financially successful. So overall, the goal is to work closely with the town to make sure we've got a credible, financially viable path that creates the affordable housing and protects the long-term affordability for residents of Hinton. Jayden, I'm going to switch it back to you to walk through a little bit more about the sites. Hopefully the slides can catch up with the visuals on that. I know it's a little bit slow in terms of moving forward on the slides.
So can everyone see the two proposed sites here?
No, Jade, we're still seeing
back
slide
on
5.
the stability, affordability, aging in place. We're there.
Oh, goodness. Okay, just give me a moment here.
There you go.
Okay, great. Sorry about the lag there, folks. So we'll carry on here. So the two sites serve complementary needs. Boughton is the larger opportunity and can combine an apartment building with ground-oriented townhomes. The explicit unit line item in the concept adds to approximately 88 homes, which remains a planning assumption until the drawing schedule is reconciled. Baker is a more neighborhood scale concept with 32 homes, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options in stacked and 2-story townhomes. Together, the concepts could create roughly 120 homes across a broad range of household types, including local workers, seniors, families, and smaller households. At this stage, the important point is the range of housing choices and community value rather than the detailed unit plans. Okay, so moving on to Boughton. Boughton is a larger community anchor, so the current concept line items add to approximately 88 homes, combining a multi-story apartment building with 1-story townhomes. It includes 1 and 2 bedroom homes and identifies barrier-free layouts. The surrounding context is strong with transit, commercial services, medical uses, and recreation nearby. The site is also close to new seniors housing, creating a complementary cluster of age-friendly housing near established community services. The concept currently shows 106 parking stalls. The key council level point is that Boughton can support a meaningful amount of housing in a location already connected to community services. Baker provides a complementary lower-rise option. The drawing set shows 32 homes, 16 1-bedroom, 8 2-bedroom, and 8 3-bedroom units, combining stacked townhomes with 2-story row homes. This broadens the overall proposal by adding family-sized homes while retaining smaller options for individuals, couples, and seniors. The site is connected to surrounding neighborhood and transit, and the parking schedule balances at 48 required and 48 provided in the current concept. Together with Boughton, Baker creates a more complete response to Hinton's range of housing needs. So together, the Boughton Avenue and Baker Street concept present an opportunity to create approximately 120 cooperative homes based on the current drawing line items. Boughton can provide the larger community anchor combining apartment and ground-oriented homes. Baker adds a complementary lower-rise option with 1, 2, and 3-bedroom homes. The cooperative model gives residents a meaningful role in governing their community. In this structure, PCLT would receive and steward the lands for permanent affordability and community benefit. NACHA would support the formation, education, governance, and long-term capacity of the local co-op, and the local co-op would govern and operate the housing. The project team provides a credible path to economic viability, and TWC is preparing a Build Canada Homes proposal and broader funding strategy to help move the opportunity forward. Our request today is exactly as that shown on the submitted slide, is to initiate the process to transfer the Boutin Avenue and Baker Street lands to PCLT for the proposed cooperative housing developments in Hinton. Thank you for your consideration. We welcome your questions.
Council. Okay, nobody's jumping in. Maybe I'll ask a question then. So 32 member communities in NACHA. Similar size to Hinton? Is Hinton an outlier? How does that lay out as far as your membership goes? This is new to us.
In northern Alberta, the co-op sizes are relatively small in comparison with the rest of the country. So the average size of our co-ops is about 40 units. The co-op that I live in is 58 units. So this would be really roughly similar. What I appreciate about this development, especially the Boutin Avenue, is having the mix of an apartment and townhouses, so that there is really an opportunity for people to transition as their needs change. So that's definitely an improvement on the design of the co-ops that we have in the region.
Thank you. Councillor Dunn.
Thank you. Just a similar question, I guess. So the information said you had 36 member co-ops across northern Alberta. Are there any in rural Alberta? Because when I looked at the list, it looked like it was all Edmonton, Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, that area.
Yeah, of course, the concentration is in Edmonton. There are 2 co-ops in Strathcona County, 2 co-ops in St. Albert, and then we've got 1 co-op in a French community just outside of Peace River.
Okay, so it would be a little different as rural Alberta. I have another question, Mayor. Is that okay?
Let her go.
Okay. It comments here, the Build Canada Homes proposals being prepared alongside complementary funding. I know there was a little bit of discussion around that, but could you go into a little bit more detail on what we could potentially acquire from Build Canada Homes and then the complementary funding?
If I may, the Build Canada Homes, it is not a set amount of money. We've got a couple other projects that have had Build Canada Homes closing on between 35 and 40% of the capital funding, but that's not a hard and fast rule so far. So that's certainly be a significant portion of the capital cost. We'll be looking at the provincial program, the Affordable Housing Partnership Program. Last year or last spring, there was announcements. Many projects got close to 100,000 a unit. It was a range depending on the project. And we're also have the opportunity to try to access below market interest rates through the apartment construction loan program offered by CMHC. We've had some initial discussions as well with some different credit unions in the area too.
Good.
One more.
Okay.
Can you explain to me the difference between or how they work together, the Build Canada Homes and the Co-op Housing Development Program?
The Co-op Housing Development Program could be complemented by the Build Canada Homes. Right now, earlier in the year, we were waiting for a proposed call that hasn't come out yet for the Co-op Housing Development Program. So we're not quite sure when different dollars will be available through that at this point. We also are aware that the Co-op Housing Federation of Canada, which NACHA works closely with, and we've certainly had discussions about this project, is also trying to advocate for a specific carve out for co-op housing within Build Canada Homes, although that's not in place yet. So, but there's often discussions typically between federal and provincial housing staff. So when we get a proposal that goes into Build Canada Homes, we're quite certain there will be discussion between Build Canada Homes staff and folks at the province.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I have no one else in queue, so I would like to thank you for the time you've taken. I know we're going to talk a bit more about this later, and we'll follow up after that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
Take care.
All right. And with that, then let's move on to our action items. And our first action item for today's 6.1, the one-off financial request from the Hinton Art Club Art Walk Administration.
Thank you, Mayor, through to the rest of council. So today we are providing, as per our one-off financial request policy, a request from the Hinton Art Club in the amount of $1,042.65 to offset the rental for the event equipment and associated labor in support of the club's Art Walk event. If there's any questions related to this, please let me know. But this is coming to council because it is above administration's limit of 750. There is adequate funding in the council contingency fund if council does decide to approve this request.
Council. Well, no one in queue then. I do have a question. How much a year do we generate renting the tents? And my question sort of comes from, what if we didn't have any money in the contingency fund and we just say to a community group that's trying to put something on, go, you know, tough luck, we don't have $400 left, so you can't have the tents, although they're going to sit there. I mean, it seems like a ledger process. I mean, is this a significant request annually?
Through the mayor's members of council, I don't know if this request has been made in the past. I don't know our revenue that we make off of the tents, but this, you are correct in that it's how we account for the services that we provide, but this was a deliberate decision by council to include these costs within the request. So instead of providing for free, just to make sure that we're doing an accurate accounting of, we'll say, lost revenue plus the labor required, that it does go against the council contingency to grant these types of requests.
Okay. Councillor McLean.
Yeah, do we use, when we do rent them out, does that go into a fund so that at sometime down the road we have to replace those tents? Was that the purpose of that, or is that, I see you trying to collect the labor costs, right? The 3 hours or whatever for setup and an hour and a half for tear down. But do we have a contingency fund to replace them, right?
Through the mayor, members of council, when we're looking at, because this is really an asset management discussion, but currently we focus mainly on our main assets and we manage it from a very high level just because we have, I think we're up near $600 million worth of assets. So we don't get this granular when we're talking about a really low value item like tents and things like that. So when we do rent it, that would just be going into our general revenue that are required to manage the town.
Councillor Dunn.
I'm just going to go ahead and make a motion that council approve the in-kind donation in the amount of $1,042.65 to offset the rental costs of Town of Hinton event equipment and associated labor in support of the Hinton Art Club's Art Walk event. I had attended this in the past, and I think it's a worthwhile event. And I think sometimes organizations like this paying for the rental maybe helps in how they treat the equipment. So I don't think it's a bad idea.
All right. Seeing no one else in queue, then I will call to question the council approve the in-kind donation in the amount of $1,042.65 to offset the rental costs of the town of Hinton event equipment and associated labor in support of the Hinton Art Club's Art Walk event. Please vote. And that's approved unanimously. Thank you. Action item 6.2, the Alberta Forest Products Association Conference. Administration.
Thank you, Mayor, to the rest of council. Really what we're asking for today is the Alberta Forest Products Association Conference is at the same time as Alberta municipalities. Typically within council's remuneration policy, council through the council budget can go to Alberta municipalities every year. My understanding is that through discussions with council, we have representation in Alberta municipalities and that we should have a larger presence at the Alberta Forest Products Association. So the motion on the floor is for council to approve attendance of Councillor McLean at the Alberta Forest Products Association 84th Annual General Meeting and Conference in Jasper, Alberta, September 23rd to 25th, with the expenses paid in accordance with the Town of Hinton Council Remuneration and Expense Policy. And what this motion would do is it would not require, it would provide the same, it would fall under the same clause of our council remuneration policy that attending Alberta municipalities would, and it wouldn't be taken from your individual professional development account.
Okay, maybe I'll open with a comment because I think initially I brought this forward and it was after a discussion that I'd had with Kevin Zahara at the town of Edson. And they went the first year just for the dinner. The second year, they attended the whole conference. And this year they're sending both members of council and administration. They indicated that they thought there was significant value in the conference. And given the importance of both Mondi and West Fraser, I thought I should bring it forward. It's revenue neutral in that the money would be spent at the Alberta municipalities or having Councillor McLean attend this particular conference. And I would like to see that information come back to council. Councillor Chambers.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's a lot of value. We need to be showing the support for our industrial partners. So with that, I'd like to make the motion that council approve the attendance of Councillor McLean at the Alberta Forest Products Association 84th Annual General Meeting and Conference in Jasper, September 23rd to 25th, 2026, with expenses to be paid in accordance with the Town of Hinton Council Remuneration and Expense Policy. And I think it just makes good sense that if someone's not attending the Alberta Municipalities Conference, that would be covered under that same program and not coming out of the individual budget. So I think that's a very good thing for Hinton to be present at these types of events.
And Councillor McLean, I see your mic's on. Comment regarding the motion in place?
Yes, it's always for one, I sit on both committees, right? I sit on the FRAG committee and the Public Advisory Committee for Mondi, and the FRAG is West Fraser Forestry. And it's always useful to sit in a room with experts to discuss the challenges that the industry is facing and how that affects on the community as a whole. Right. And, it's just a number of the challenges that we've been discussing at our committees is the fire break, the harvesting to the south of the town, what we do with the chips and what we do with the waste and the reforestation of that area, the tariffs that are facing the industry today, working with oil and gas, building the roads to go in and harvest, and attraction and retention of employees in town and the availability of housing and everything. So it's all interwoven together, the industry and the community and stuff. So be honored to attend it and bring back the information that the experts present at the convention.
I look forward to your book report. All right, and seeing no one else in queue, then I call the question to council approve the attendance of Councillor McLean at the Alberta Forest Products Association's 84th Annual General Meeting and Conference, September 23rd to 25th, with expenses to be paid in accordance with the Town of Hinton remuneration and expense policy. Please vote. And I guess everyone agrees, so book report, here we come. All right, so our final action item for today, 6.3, the Town of Hinton 70th Anniversary Celebration. Administration.
Thank you, Mayor, to the rest of council. So the town of Hinton turned 70 this year. Administration was planning some events around or having commemorative chocolate coins distributed to local businesses, a photo contest, and a small reception at the government center. Council's indicated that they may want to look at a one-day celebration event. The way we see that is, a time capsule opening, a community cake cutting, family activities, community booths and historical displays, food vendors, beer gardens, 45-minute live music performances, and an optional fireworks display. So that was our understanding of what we were talking about. So if council would like to move to a new direction for how we celebrate our 70th year, we'll need to know that. And then we can get on and we can plan an event. If council's okay with the original plan, then I think simply receiving this for information would be appropriate. If we want to change how we're doing it, there's no budgetary impact. The only element of this that would impact the budget, and we would need to approve or council would need to approve an overage, would be the addition of fireworks. So we have gone out, gotten some quotes on fireworks, and we have summarized that into, no fireworks, which are the bronze is about 15,000, silver is at 30,000, and the gold display is at 45,000. So those are some of the different levels that we have been able to find when it comes to somebody coming in and providing fireworks. So that would be an additional budget overage. But like I said, if we do the events that I had just previously mentioned without the fireworks, then that would be covered under the original budget that we had for this event.
Thank you. Council. All right, well, nobody's jumping into queue, so maybe I'll initiate it. I would like to see us have a celebration. One of the things we talked about at council was ways to build community spirit. And I look back at the response to Canada Day and how that went. I think if we were to get some of the teachers together who initially put that time capsule, open that as a community, have some cake, have some bands. And I know we're not going to talk about it until after we're done this item, but when I take a look at a lot of our budget savings that we will realize this year, I personally would like to see fireworks to cap it off. You only turn 70 once. I mean, I'm headed there quicker than I might like. But I think this is a real opportunity to get together as a community and celebrate. Councillor McLean.
Yes, I agree. I attended July 1st, the evening before, and the July 1st celebration. And I've been at every Green Square Friday, Green Square, except the first one. And community coming together there in the Green Square and enjoying the music and enjoying each other's company. And I agree with you with our strategic plan when we talked about bringing the spirit back to Hinton. We talked about it on the campaign. I think this would be a perfect opportunity. And I agree with some form of fireworks would be appropriate.
Councillor Charlton.
Question for administration. In the firework options, bronze, silver, and gold, understanding that the duration of all of them is for a 15-minute quote. It's a substantial difference per minute. Did they give you any information as to what differences that would make? Is it brighter, higher, more?
Through the mayor, members of council, I don't know if I can answer that accurately, but my understanding is just it's a better package. It's more fireworks. They're they're a little bit more exciting, those types of things. So I think it's just the quality and the wow factor of how many fireworks you actually want.
Thank you.
Councillor Dunn.
I agree that an event would be fabulous to celebrate the 70th anniversary. However, I don't think I could support $15,000 for fireworks, to be honest. I'd like to think that the community would be pleased with what we're offering for the opening ceremonies and the cake cutting and the time capsule, the beer gardens, the bands, everything. I think all that is really great. I just don't know that I could support the $15,000. And I'm just going with the lowest amount, but the $15,000 for the fireworks. Thank you.
Councillor Chambers.
Thank you. So through the mayor to administration, if I was to make a motion, do I need to assign where the additional funds would be coming from, or do I just make the motion with whichever package we want to go with? Or I would like to motion to go with.
Through the mayor, members of council, I think that actually just to supplement the recommended action, I would say with up to, and then specify the amount that you were thinking tied to whatever level of fireworks as an approved budget overage. That way, the $15,000 typically does not tip the scales on any one category with a budget of what we manage, but at least it's an approved overage. If we do need the additional funding, that would come from the general municipal reserve. But I think just given the dollar amount being relatively low, just specifying that it's an approved budget overage would be appropriate.
Okay, so in that case, I'd like to make a motion that council approve a 1-day 70-year celebration event with the bronze fireworks display with an approved $15,000 operational budget overage. Is that what you want me to say? Up to 15,000?
Well, I don't want you to say anything, but with up to $15,000
$15,000.
approved budget overage.
Approved budget overage, okay. And if I can just speak to that while we get
Please.
this up. I think that the community has been quite loud that they want fireworks. I think that's been a consistent thing we heard over many different forums during different discussions and different celebrations. And I think that while it is a additional expense, I think that it's kind of dipping our toe back in the water of what we see the drones versus fireworks versus other things are and what the feedback is. I'm sure it'll generate some conversation on both sides, but I think this is a wonderful thing to celebrate that is uniquely Hinton. This is our celebration for our birthday and not just a Canada Day or New Year's Day, that type of event. And I think we should really embrace it and use it to leverage that community spirit we're seeing in our other events. So.
Council. All right, seeing no one else in queue, I call the question, the council approve a 1-day, 70-year celebration event with a bronze firework display up to $15,000 approved budget overage. Please vote. And that's approved 4-1 with Councillor Dunn voting against. Thank you very much. All right, then we're on to notices of motion. Do we have any notices of motion to address tonight?
We do not.
Thank you. And then on to reporting. We'll start council reports, maybe to my right hand, Councillor Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For my report, I had visited with fellow councillors, the RCMP K Division in Edmonton. And it was an opportunity for council to just see what the RCMP office in Edmonton is doing. It was fabulous. It was just really eye-opening, and just the technology that they have, that we have in Alberta, was fabulous. So I really appreciate the opportunity to attend, and I would suggest anyone ever have an opportunity to go, they should. Thank you. That's all I have.
Councillor Charlton. Yeah, hit the button.
Thank you. I also had the opportunity to attend the tour of the K Division in Edmonton, and it was fantastic. Not only did we get to meet some of our fire department crew and some of our CMP locally, to have the opportunity to get to know them a little bit better, but if you get the chance to go see the K Division, it's really quite interesting. They did a bang up job on the tour. It was full of information, and it's nice to see that the monies that are being spent on the K Division and the value that it provides for Hinton as a community, to be able to have all of those extra services to help support when it's needed. So yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And that's all for me.
Thank you. Councillor Chambers.
Nothing to report.
That's concise. Councillor McLean.
Yes, I had the privilege to attend the opening and the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new development.
What's that neighborhood called?
Oh, yes.
Willow Grove.
Willow Grove. Thank you very much. And have actually got a tour of the development and the trailers.
Modular homes.
Modular homes. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. It's just a great new little community, right? To be added to this town, and anybody that had anything to do with it should be thanked. And I really impressed with the whole operation. So thank you.
All right. And for me, I would like to say hats off to the former council who provided the land used for the building of Willow Grove. I talked to two different individuals down that day who said that was the nicest place they've ever lived in their life. And it's really nice to hear. It looks great. It took a little longer than we may have hoped for, but it is a great addition to Hinton. And again, for that tour to K Division, it was a day, but it was really eye-opening. When the budget comes and I saw how much was being paid to K Division, it really gave me pause, because I thought this was just another layer of oversight. But the amount of technology that the town of Hinton has access to, we got to watch a local drone fly, and it's just another opportunity to do a better job in policing. I really like to thank the RCMP for that day. And administration, any reports?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The one thing I will say on Willow Grove, but I believe that within days, and I think possibly a week, but they will be starting on the road upgrade. So as a part of the deal that we made with the province of Alberta to provide the land. One of the conditions was a full upgrade of Drinnan, which is a under standard road currently. So the province will be going in and doing that project very soon. So there may be some traffic implications, but when it's all done, it will be a fully up to standard road in front.
Bhutan, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Other than that, we have included year-to-date financials on our capital projects. So if you have any questions, our Director of Corporate Services isn't here, but we do have our Director of Infrastructure, and we can most likely answer most questions.
Thank you. Just a general comment before I open it up. When these get put in a package, can you just put something in there that says this is here for information? Or, because again, I spent a bunch of time on this. I wasn't sure what was required of me. It'd just be nice to get an indication if there's a requirement of us beyond taking some time to review it. I would appreciate that. Thanks. Councillor Dunn.
Thank you. I'm not sure what it's called, the budget or the balances update on this for administration. On the fire hydrant replacement, it says the 2026 scope completed under budget, which is great. When we originally talked about this, we said we were going to phase it over 4 years. And I think we talked about 4 hydrants a year, although we didn't specify that in the minutes. I'm just wondering how many hydrants were done in 2026 under budget.
Through the mayor, I will provide this to our Director of Infrastructure.
And I will pass this to Alex Corperadine for an exact number.
Through the mayor to rest of council, the 2026 scope included approximately 12 hydrants that were out of service and needing replacement. Those have all been completed under budget, and the plan is to actually begin work on 2027's scope of work in 2026 to hopefully move this project along a little quicker.
Nice. Anyone else? Councillor Charlton.
Yes, I wanted to understand under the year-to-date variances on some of our negative ones, even though they are stating 100% complete, does that get, like, I'm looking at the 2025 transit cargo van. Obviously this cost more than we thought that it was going to. So do we take that from another budget, or how does that work?
Administration.
Do you have an answer? Or would you like? Perfect.
Through the mayor to all of council, when it comes to the fleet acquisition, what you actually approved was an overall budget for fleet. So we are over on some and under on others, with the goal of bringing the ship in on budget as a whole. And that's actually why we bring you the fleet budget all as one budget. So we have those flexibilities and aren't coming to council for, little overages on one when we're under on another.
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you.
No one in queue. So I see on Kelly Road, we budgeted the 25,000. It says we spent 0, but the report's done. I expect that 25,000 has been spent. Is that not the case?
Through the mayor to council, that report is primarily complete. We do have a draft, and they just haven't billed us.
Okay, thank you. And then I have one more. So the asphalt apron repairs, that was contingent upon an industrial partner. Is there do we get any comment that way?
Through the mayor to all of council, we still want to have some more discussions with Fresh Fraser, but given the state of forestry with tariffs and all those kinds of things, we're not hopeful for that.
That's kind of what I thought. Thank you. All right, council. All right, no one else in queue then. I would love to get a go to close. There we go. Councilor McLean.
Like to move, we go into closed session at, whatever time it is, 5 o'clock.
All right, council. We have a motion that council move into closed session at 5 PM. Please vote. And that's proved unanimously. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. We voted to come out of closed session at 6 p.m. And we do have a couple of motions. 1.1, the CAO performance review. Councillor Chambers.
I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with the direction given for the CAO performance review as discussed in closed session.
Thank you. And seeing no one in queue, I call the question that council initiate the 2026 CAO performance review as outlined in the CAO performance review policy CL 1111 and discussed in closed session, just as Councillor Chambers said. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Item 1.2, the 2026 collective bargaining monetary mandate. Councillor Dunn.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that council approve the monetary in between the town of Hinton and Unifor Local 855 as discussed in closed session.
Thank you. And seeing no one in queue, I call the question that council approve the monetary mandate for collective bargaining between the town of Hinton and Unifor Local 855 as discussed in closed session. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you, council. We have one last motion to make. Councillor McLean.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor?